Walk into nearly any shop in India today, and you'll find a row of these QR codes. UPI has transformed the country into a global leader in digital payments. But there is a contradiction sitting right next to those digital scanners. The amount of physical cash in the Indian economy is actually increasing, growing by over 11% last year to reach a record 42 trillion rupees. Maintaining that mountain of physical money reveals a weakness. India prints its currency on traditional cotton-based paper, a fragile material that struggles to survive the friction of daily use. This chart shows the RBI's annual printing costs, which recently exceeded 6,300 crore rupees. A large portion replaces notes that have simply fallen apart. During that same period, the RBI withdrew and destroyed nearly 24 billion soiled notes. To reduce this waste, RBI Governors Sanjay Malhotra and the central bank are revisiting a plan first proposed years ago. They are officially considering a transition to polymer, or plastic, banknotes. Switching to plastic provides 5 specific ways to modernize the physical economy, addressing the rising costs and the durability issues of a cash system, currently limited by a fragile material. The first shift is purely an economic one. While a plastic note costs more to produce initially than a paper one, the long-term math is different. Polymer notes last 2.5 to 6 times longer than paper. Because they resist tearing and folding, they don't need to be reprinted nearly as often. Australia was the first country to fully adopt this technology. Over 25 years, the transition led to nearly $1 billion in net savings. There is also a practical necessity driven by India's climate. High humidity and heavy monsoons are brutal on paper currency, which easily absorbs moisture. Polymer is completely non-porous. This means the material naturally repels water and oils rather than soaking them up. In daily use, this means the notes can survive a trip through a washing machine, repel dirt, and carry far fewer bacteria than traditional cotton paper. Using polymer allows the currency to remain clean and usable for significantly longer periods, even in high circulation environments. Durability isn't the only concern. There is also a security gap. The RBI recently reported a 37% spike in counterfeit 500 rupee notes. Plastic substrate allows for advanced security features. Notes can include embedded transparent windows and complex holograms that are extremely difficult for forgers to replicate. After Canada switched to polymer, their counterfeit rate dropped to just 10 parts per million. Then there is the environmental argument. At first, adding more plastic to the economy seems like it would increase a country's carbon footprint. This visual compares the environmental impact of currency materials. Because polymer notes are replaced rarely, their production creates 30% lower greenhouse gas emissions than paper notes. Water usage follows a similar trend, requiring 90% less water to produce than cotton-based paper. India's innovation could go further by upcycling existing polypropylene packaging waste into high-grade films for currency, a concept researchers call eco-rupees. This approach secures the treasury from counterfeiters while reducing the total environmental cost of keeping physical cash in the economy. There is also a broader social necessity. Despite the growth of UPI, physical cash is still the primary way millions of unbanked Indians trade. By making cash cheaper and more durable to maintain, polymer notes prevent the analog economy from becoming an increasing financial drain, ensuring a reliable fallback for the digital grid. Viral posts recently claimed the RBI was preparing for a sudden ban of all paper notes by June 2026. The government has fact-checked this as false. The actual rollout will be gradual. India trialed polymer notes in 5 cities back in 2012, but that project stalled because ATMs at the time had trouble reading the plastic material. A decade later, modern currency processing systems and ATM technologies have solved those operational issues. The RBI's likely strategy is a phased pilot, beginning with lower denominations like the 10 and 20 rupee notes. These notes change hands most frequently and wear out the fastest, making them the most logical test for durability. Modernizing India's financial system isn't just about moving to the digital realm. It requires innovating the analog world so it can be smarter, cheaper, and more efficient.